Oh, welcome back to the channel, guys. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for the fact that I have been a bit lazy with posting any content up on YouTube. I recently was doing some work to the interior of the car when I accidentally knocked the camera, landed on its screen, and it did some damage to the internal motherboard, which meant I had to send it back to Canon, and it took a bit of time to get it repaired and back up to scratch. So now that I got it, I thought, look, what have I missed in this sort of window? And I think I left last episode on pretty much on a bit of a sour note with the paint job of the car. And since then, there's been so much done to the car, which I am super keen to show you guys. I've taken little snippets along the way. It's not sort of a clear and concise sort of progress as to what I've done. However, it should give you a bit of an understanding as to how I've gone about the build. This episode, however, I was thinking we focus on the recent road trip that I just did with my old man. He decided to buy a 1986 Range Rover 4-door that has been extensively modified in terms of the drivetrain. So they took the old, I think it was 3.5 V8 EFI out of it and replaced it with a 200 TDI diesel and an LT77 5-speed gearbox. So that in itself, when I saw that ad on Facebook Marketplace, which just seems to be the place to buy cars these days, I feel, I just thought, this is perfect. This just sounds like my old man. He's not mechanically minded. Here's a diesel. Here's something that's manual that he can easily drive, and it's not going to have issues with the automatic. It's not going to have issues with the computer, that sort of stuff. So I was like, this is about as simple as it gets. Allows him to enjoy it, and at the same time, we can go on adventures without having really too many complications, particularly between both cars where they're very similar mechanically. So, yeah, look, we bought the car sight unseen. It was down in Adelaide. I called up my old man and said, look, found you a car. I think it's really cool. It's a diesel Rangy, just like mine, and it looks to be well maintained. And the only downside is it's in South Australia. And he didn't really have any issues with that. He was like, cool, all right, well, what about we fly down, pick it up, drive it up to Darwin? And then I was like, hang on a minute, Darwin, what the fuck? What do you mean? He goes, oh, I'm sure it needs a bit of work, that sort of stuff. What about you fix it up for me? I'll come back down to Darwin, I'll come back up to Darwin, pick it up, and then road trip it back home to Sydney. And I was like, it's not like I've got another car to freaking build here anyway, but whatever, sure, happy to take it on. So that was the plan. So we decided to drive it from Adelaide all the way back up to Darwin with the hope that there wasn't going to be any issues. I think I took 5 days leave off work and really needed to get back on that Monday. So I was kind of hoping we weren't going to have any issues. So, give you a bit of a recount, but overall, super stoked with the car. The coolest 4-door out there. Needs a bit of love, but overall, I think it suits the family perfectly and adds another diesel Ranger to the family. So, stoked. So let's do a bit of a recount on the road trip and yeah, see what you guys think. Morning, guys. Just woke up from a little bit of a snooze. Dad did the first leg outside.
While he was driving, which was a bit of a worry.
Not whilst I'm driving, don't fucking listen to that. I was not driving. We just drove out of Adelaide. Took us about an hour to get out, which was a bit...
At 6 o'clock in the morning.
At 6 o'clock, yeah. So now we're heading towards Port Augusta and then heading straight up to Coober Pedy. So nice to finally get out onto the open road. We're doing about 100 k's an hour and the car cruises absolutely beautifully at that. Should be getting about, apparently the previous owner said anywhere between 8.5 to 9 to the litres per 100. So it's a really, really efficient car. And we're just going to do a bit of a mileage check on it and see what it's like. Fuel reader isn't too crash hot, drops pretty quickly, but we do have a auxiliary tank with it that pumps to the main tank, so we've got plenty of fuel, easily over 1000k range, but we're just going to do a mileage check and see what it's like. So yeah, it should be good. We've got a engine watchdog that actually came with the car, but it's disconnected. Now the temps on the car, everything seems to be running well. However, I definitely don't trust the original temp sensor here. So what I'm going to do is just quickly wire it up. I don't really have too many tools, but I'm just going to splice it to what seems to be a live and negative feed here nearby, and it's not feeding to anything else. So I'm just going to tap into that, hopefully get that working, and then we can just monitor both the engine and I believe temps on the gearbox as well. So we'll just do that. Yep, beauty. So we've got it's set at 101, engine block's at 73 degrees at the moment. Sweet. Alright, so I'll wrap that around. We'll tape this up, and then we've now got a live engine watchdog. I mean, this is a bit dodgy, but to be honest, I'll just tape it up. Got some tape here. It'll be a temporary solution, and when we get the car up to Darwin and gets a little bit of a makeover, then I'll do this all properly and tidy it all up. Hey guys, I'm just here in front of Super Cheap Auto. Just bought a couple of parts, or a couple of tools actually, to sort out a couple of leaks that I've found on the car. The transfer case is leaking, the gearbox is leaking, the engine's leaking as well. So pretty much across the board, a couple of things are leaking, but nothing substantially. And a lot of them seem to be coming from either the bung plug at the bottom, or through sort of gaskets that have worn out, which is sort of an easy fix once I've got the car back at the house. So what I'm just going to quickly do now is so I've just bought some cheap oil with one of those like 1 litre bottles that you can actually fill up the transfer case and gearbox with. And so I'm going to just use that gear oil that I've got, top up the oils in the diff, and then throw the rest of it out so I can fill it up with some engine and transfer case oil that I've got just lying around here in the back of the car. So let's do that. So there you have it, guys. Epic road trip with my old man, and somehow I don't know how we actually got up here without really any issues whatsoever. Put a huge expectation on the car. I think it was just over 3,000 kilometers without really giving it a good look over and any work on it. And yeah, look, aside from minor things like the oil leaks that we had along the way, we just did top-ups on, it ran beautifully. But I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour around it and discuss the good, the bad, and also what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 months with it. So overall, as you can see from the outside, it's got a couple of dents and the paintwork isn't too crash shot. Particularly on the bonnet, you can see the clear coat's definitely starting to peel off, and if you look even closer, it's just all cracked. So it definitely needs to be repainted, and all the accessories like the bumper bar, the grille, the light surrounds, all that sort of stuff that are all black need to come off and get repainted. The rims don't really vibe the black Rostyles, so I think we're going to take them off, get them sandblasted and repainted in the original silver. You can see down the bottom it's got a bit of a two-tone colour scheme happening. So the bottom half is it's got this black film, and to be honest, I really kind of back it. It looks pretty cool. Plus, it just protects the bottom half of the door from all the stone chips getting flicked up by the tyres. So whether that gets installed, I'm not sure, but I think it's, ask my old man, but I think it's a pretty good idea. You can see doors are a little bit sticky, so have to check that out, and the latches and maybe even the door seals. Interior wise, the car is in awesome condition. I'll go around the other side so you can kind of see it with the light, but over its lifetime it's definitely been looked after, and you can definitely see that. So there it is. So seats, even the seat bases are all still in good condition. The cubby here isn't that great, so that needs to be replaced. Need to tidy up a little bit of the wiring here. This is what we kind of just botched up so that we can get the engine watchdog running. Similarly, the back is in excellent condition. Rear bench seat is in good nick, and Dad wants to change the seats to leather. To be honest, I think to keep them cloth because they're in fantastic condition, and it's a little bit sacrilege to throw it out. And but at the same time, I think leather would look fantastic in this. Door cards are in mediocre condition. The backs are alright. They are a little bit faded. But the front, you can see, for example, the handle's off. That needs to be fixed. But we have ordered some new door cards for it, or a really good second-hand set, I should say, with timber up the top. So that should finish it off really nicely. Going around to the back, upper tailgate is in good condition. Just needs to be repainted, really. The bottom half of the tailgate has been dented, so that needs to be pulled before getting painted. But everything opens up really nicely. All of the carpet is still in fantastic condition, and there's no rust underneath all this, so that's always a nice thing to see. All the tools and bits and bobs are all in there, and that was awesome to have that for the road trip. Bought some oil, bought a tool bag, just a cheapo to get us going. A recovery toe strap, which we didn't need to use, which is good. And it looks like it previously had some seat covers, which I assume is the reason why the seats are in really good condition. So might throw them back on, might not, probably not. They look a bit hideous, but I might get another set. But that's really about it, guys. In terms of the drivetrain, a little bit of surface rust, but overall really good condition. There's no rust whatsoever on it. The drivetrain is awesome. It's a 200 TDI, mated to a, I think, LT77 these came with. Just open the hood for you guys. can be a bit difficult with one hand. Alright, so there you have it. So the engine swap was apparently done in 1991, so 5 years after the car was built, and it was professionally swapped, and you can definitely see that. Everything's wired up properly. There's still a little bit of things to tidy up. I think over time people put some aftermarket stuff in it, so you can see there's all these connectors and everything's kind of left exposed, and whether they're connected or not, not sure. All I just did on the road was just tape all those and close them completely so they don't arc on anything. But aside from that, the compressor, the aircon doesn't seem to work, so I'll probably run it up to Gary just up there to re-gas it and also just check on the entire system. That's really about it. It's had some work on the turbo. Apparently it's got a new cartridge in it. It's got a new alternator. Water pump has recently been replaced, as you can see down there. New hoses all round. Yeah, so it's obviously been well looked after and someone in the past has really loved it, so that already is a really good start to have for us. And then from here, I guess we'll just tidy up any sort of loose ends and any extra work it needs, really. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Pretty stoked with this car, and I think it'll turn out to be a really epic sort of tourer slash weekender for my old man. So the plan is he's going to come and pick it up in, I think, 4 months. So 10th of August, I think that works out to be 4 months, 3-4 months. And he's going to drive it back to home. And the plan is I'm actually going to take 3 weeks off work and go drive down as far as the Flinders, and then actually turn off and do the Flinders, Simpsons Desert, and hopefully even Cameron Corner, do a remote run out that way. So I've got a fair bit of work in the next 3-4 months to get this thing done and also get mine done and back on the road. But yeah, look, at least I've got a goal to aim for, and yeah, should be a really cool trip. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Cheers.